A ballerina's perspective, from performing with New York City Ballet and Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater to publishing poetry books and mentoring kids and teens. Join us in a weekly discussion with experts to gain mental health clarity and achieve growth and moral consciousness. Give our show a 5 stars, comment, share, and come along for the ride. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth, Grace, Gratitude podcast. Today we have a wonderful guest, Luma, who's actually been writing a lot for our website, our online magazine, with her really inspiring words, and it's such a beautiful gift to have for our community. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to have her on our podcast and share more about her work and her inspiration for writing. Luma's a writer with a niche in mental health writing for therapists and business coaches. And some of her work that she has written on our blog: Spiritual Things Girlies Want for Valentine's Day, Helpful and Practical New Year's Resolutions, Self-Care Tips for Christmas Time, Finding Peace Around the Thanksgiving Holiday Table, Teen Talk Tuesdays, which helps teen community with friends, dating, confidence, effects of social media on women. And I feel like these topics really touch a lot of people. I actually got emails from people who were reading these articles that you wrote, and they loved it. I feel like we're going through a shift in the collective and humanity, and I think connecting to the mental health aspect, especially when it comes to like holidays, it's such a beautiful way to give people that kind of like support. And what made you start writing like this, like to connect so deeply with mental health, especially when it comes to like, therapists and dealing with the whole mental health field? If you're ready to shake off that daily stress, come join us for online beginner adult ballet and yoga classes each week to connect with the flow of movement and the art of ballet into perfect synergy. Come as you are and learn to love your body a little bit more and gain strength and flexibility with each class. All are welcome. Sign up at balletartsmovement@gmail.com. First class free. Televital supports focus, energy, immunity, sleep, recovery, and resilience. Start feeling better today on a cellular level with Zeolite, super green juice, micronutrient gut support, and more. Get over 50% off your first order for Televital. Link in the description of the podcast.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the
Yeah.
podcast. It's such an honor. So as I've mentioned in some of my social media accounts, I started off working at a treatment center. So I started off working as a youth mentor for an all-girls residential treatment center. For anyone who's not aware, there's an industry where it's kind of like rehab, but it's more so for like young adults. For anyone who struggles with self harm, anxiety, depression, any aggressive behaviors. And then I spent 6 months working at a psychiatric hospital before I moved here to Texas. During my time working there, I really wanted to like start, writing and really just start writing about my experiences. And I learned about freelance writing and what it is, and how you can make it your full-time job. And I'm like, you know what, I have some decent knowledge regarding mental health because that was the field that I was in. But I just kind of wanted to like kind of bridge my desire for writing and just my experience working as a youth mentor and a care staff at a psychiatric hospital, and just really educate people about what it is and how mental health doesn't fit into just this one small box. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people spread a lot of general information, but they don't really understand that sometimes people could have an episode, or some people can disassociate. And I know a lot of times people will call the cops on people who will act out aggressively, but really we just need to find a better way to just understand this. Um, and I don't feel like I spent a whole lot of time working in treatment and things like that, but at the same time, I really do feel like it's important for the public to just be educated and just to kind of give grace for people who are struggling with this, because at the end of the day, as it's becoming more of a topic, um, there is a risk of just a lot of misinformation out there, and just a lot of people that still don't think that this is a real thing, and that you know at the end of the day, like, we're all human beings. At the end of the day, they just probably just need a lot more. We just need to find a way to understand them more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you get so deep, and yeah, like it's so true. I remember growing up, and I grew up dancing ballet, and I was able to kind of give back to the community as I was graduating from high school. So it's like there was opportunities for adults to go for after school programs and go to schools with students that have difficulties with whether it's like addiction or mental health stuff, a lot of ADHD, anxiety, and it's like putting them into something that's helpful and beneficial. It's like they're able to release their like pent up frustration or energy, and it gets the body moving. And I think physical exercise, moving, dancing is also really helpful for the mental health of people, just like on a daily basis. Even I think
Yeah,
it like helps us to stay grounded in a way, and it helps us to reconnect back to ourselves when we are going through difficulties, because some days we feel awesome and perfect, and then we might even like forget our routines and forget to prioritize mental health things that really help us. So I think it's also important to have like a routine or a plan. Like, do you have any of your personal tips that you like to do that feel like it helps ground you and it helps you stay motivated and inspired, whether it is to write something or just in your daily life? Unlock your best life with Soul app. Book a holistic wellness experience with a trained guide and start changing your life today with compassion practices, inner healing, food and diet, and so much more. Tap into a healthier and happier life with the number one purposeful living app in the US, the Soul app, link in the description of the podcast. Sanger Daniel's online seminar promoting a positive message of self-healing with bioenergy work together with live seminars and remote coaching. Use code BIO20 for a 20% discount for our audience. Link in the description of the podcast.
yeah. So I lean a lot into my faith. I'm a Christian, and a lot of times I just want to draw away from the public and just kind of just sit with me and God, and just kind of read a lot of the, all the texts and things to just really encourage me, and also really just kind of, I'll try and treat myself. I have a big sweet tooth, so sometimes I'll be like, I'll just have some chocolate. I don't recommend doing that like all the time, but just kind of getting like that dopamine flowing through you, and also just finding ways to just ground myself and sitting with it for a little bit. But then I realize, like, when I sit with it, actually it'll come to pass, and I feel okay again. So yeah, that's also one thing. And also journaling is like a big thing for me as well. As a writer, as someone who's has a writing business, and doing it for the art as well, I was kind of reflecting on how it's important for writers to just kind of separate when to write for business and just writing just from your heart. um I think journaling just really helps me get everything out, because I just feel like when I'm writing, the words just kind of flow a lot easier than when I speak, because I'm a huge introvert, and sometimes I kind of have to pause and just process things. But then when I'm writing, I'm like, it doesn't really, I don't really need to do anything with it, so it's kind of like no effort. But yeah, I would say those are like some of my biggest things that really help out, ground me and bring me down back down to earth.
I love that. Yeah, and I love the distinction between, like you mentioned, writing for your business and then writing for yourself. Because yeah, it's so true. Because when we have to write, we're kind of in that mind space of like we have to get it done, we have to just finish it, and sometimes we might be limited in a way with our creativity. But when we have that freedom of like, it's not for your business, it's just for yourself, you have some kind of like inner child vibes that come out, and it's like you reach different parts of your psyche that feel like relaxed and so happy to come out and play. I feel like, so it's so interesting you say that, because yeah, it's so true. I think a lot of writers will relate to that, because there's so much pressure when it comes to like book deals or preparing something for like a deadline. You want to present your best work, but when you're under this kind of pressure constraint, it's like you have to present something in a specific time frame, which kind of limits your inner child from flowing abundantly, I think. But it's, yeah, it's really fun to be able to connect yourself and just play around with the freedom. Do you say that you write like easily, and it's like it doesn't do you have a lot of like writer's block ever, or it just comes naturally to you, like just writing?
Absolutely. Yeah, there are times where I just, well, I'll have like a break or something. I'll go on vacation and I open my laptop or my notebook and I'm like, I don't really know what to write about. But one thing that's been helping me lately, and I know some people feel conflicted about this, is kind of using AI prompts and just kind of asking ChatGPT or Claude, saying, "Hey, like, I'm not really feeling the vibe right now. I kind of need something to help me write about." So when they give me a prompt, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And then I'll start writing. And then next thing you know, like I got my mojo going and I'm writing and I'm like, there's a lot of things that I didn't know that I needed to say. Um, so yeah, that's one thing that really helped me when I kind of have that writer's block, which I'm sure every writer can relate to. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think a lot of writers kind of deal with writer's block, and it's totally fine. And like finding ways to even like detach from writing sometimes, it's also helpful, especially if we're writing within our jobs and that's what we do. We are so overly ingrained in this whole process. Sometimes we have to like just take a step back. And I know for myself, when I get writer's block, I feel like that's when I'm actually doing so much work that I have to take a step back, and I have to be like, I have to remind myself to stop what I'm doing for a while.
Yeah.
Because when we are writing and when we're good writers, I feel like we don't want to stop. We want to just like keep going, and we want to,
Hmm.
do our very best. So it's like part of being inspired continuously is also knowing when to like to relax.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and I know a lot of people in the writing community, they say it's good to write every day just to kind of make the habit stick. But for me personally, sometimes just having like that break period and just kind of having some time to like go out and experience life or whatever, just maybe just taking a few days off. Like for me personally, it really helps my writing in a way. Cause then, I just realized, oh wait, like I had this cool interaction with a stranger that I really want to write about. That way you kind of have like a plethora of ideas to come back and write about. And sometimes what I like to do is just, I'll start thinking of something. I'm like, I think I should write about that and just kind of put it in my notes app. Just before I forget about it later. But yeah, and every writer is different. Some writers, they have to write every day. For me, I just sometimes it's just really all about what works for you at the end of the day.
100%. Yeah, yeah, exactly, totally.
Yeah.
And another thing that I think many writers talk about, well, it's unfortunate when it does happen, when people kind of try to steal your work or copy your work. And then I
Yeah.
like, it's so annoying. I've met so many writers who experience this and they're so frustrated with that. It's it's like very irritating when it comes to like your personal work, and you're doing this from your heart and soul. You're doing it authentically and honestly, and then when you see somebody is kind of trying to copy you, that's super super annoying. Like I've met people even who have like really big accounts, they try to do it to people who have smaller accounts. It's like,
Yeah. No, I hear about that a lot, and honestly, it kind of creates like a sense of division. Like writing is all about creativity and making sure that
yeah,
you're, generating new ideas. Yeah, stealing someone else's work, it's I'm 100% against that. It's just it's unfortunate that it does happen. But at the end of the day, um, sometimes I like to keep some ideas to myself. Like, okay, I'm gonna gatekeep this
Yes.
just for myself, so no one else
Yes.
has access to it. Um, but really, I feel like once you put something out there in the public, um, honestly, some people unfortunately view it as free game. Like, you know what? They have it out there. They don't really have a huge audience. I'll probably just take a few bits of their content and remix it. They don't ever, which is, yeah.
I know there has to be rules about this. It's like
Yeah.
when you wrote the articles on my online magazine, which one was your favorite? Did you have any favorite that you love to write?
I think one of my most favorite was about women, the effects of social media on women.
Yes, yes, that one was
Um,
actually the most loved by people.
oh my gosh, that's
Yeah, because I was gonna mention, I was
thanks.
yeah, people loved that one the most, and I think it got the most views also, which is really cool because obviously we're on social media, and a lot of women probably are reading the magazine because it's all about like mental health, spirituality,
Yeah.
connecting to that inner child part of you. So yeah, yeah, that one is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's I say it's my favorite probably because I feel like women, I don't know, I just feel like we bear the brunt of so much on here.
Podpitch is the first and only software that finds, writes, and sends pitches to podcast hosts from your actual email address. Podpitch will make sure you get podcast bookings, guaranteed. Link in the description of the podcast. ClickFunnels easily build any type of online business and sales funnel in record time, no matter what your product, service, or niche, without any tech design or experience whatsoever. Try the ClickFunnels 14-day free trial. Link in the description of the podcast.
Um, and men, absolutely as well, but I just feel like it affects women much differently. Um, I know, I'm pretty sure I wrote about just, two women who were pretty public about their friendship. Everybody knew they were best friends. One of them um, was on MTV. So, of course, they had a whole podcast together, and then, they had a fallout, and that really resulted into many people just making assumptions and picking sides and really saying, like, she did this or she did that. And honestly, best friend fallouts happen all the time. Like, friendship fallouts are nothing new under the sun, but the fact that it was just so out there, it was so public, and it just left for everyone to just scrutinize, what happened. Because at the end of the day, like, none of us know the details of it, but it's just so easy just for people to just pick apart women and things like that. And I don't know if I can't remember the stats that I put on there, but I know that you know women were much more likely to be receptive to mental health um, and things like that.
Yes.
So um, I don't know if you remember that one movie, Cyberbully. Like, in
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
2011, like,
yeah.
it really made me think back to that movie. Like, wow, like, like
Yeah,
it just,
so scary. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it's just unfortunate. And I really feel like it's important for women to just, and really everyone to just really unplug, um, and just stay connected with the outside world.
A hundred
Because
percent, yeah.
yeah, because I was reflecting, like, at the end of the day, like, social media is cool and everything. It's a great way to stay connected, but people really get a very warped sense of reality once they're on here. They think that, oh, and you're exposed to what so many people think, and it's so easy to get sucked in. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'll never meet this person in real life. um, I just need to unplug and actually start talking to people actually in real life. But yeah, I would say that's my most favorite article that I've written, because it really helped me just put into perspective of, just women in general, and how, we experience the world differently than men. So
That's beautiful. And it is so true. And especially as we are on social media and as women, even as girls growing up, I think it starts young and they start comparing themselves and they start to see social media as kind of like a mirror reflection, but not in a positive way, not in a way that's like mirroring yourself to express
Yes.
yourself with your like raw imperfections, but in a way it's like you're idolizing a sense of perfectionism that doesn't even exist, and you're
Yes,
trying to like
exactly.
be that and embody that, and then it gives you anxiety because it's like obviously that's not real, and everybody
Yeah.
is trying to like present themselves in this way, which it's I mean it's nice to think about, wanting to be your best self, which is a great thing, but it's not necessarily healthy, I think, to remain kind of stuck in that box, and it's like
Yeah.
you're not even aware of who you are at one point if you keep on presenting yourself to be liked or accepted. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
kids growing up, they have this really horrible experience with like you mentioned, bullying, cyberbullying. It gets actually really dark and scary because kids are not, I think, taught the value of social media and actually what it's actually for. It's like, it's great for finding information, like clarifying to make sure it's right, the facts, and if you have people living far away, like your family, your friends, you can connect, and that's really great. But this whole like 24/7 nonstop attention on social media, that really takes the mind and makes it
Yeah. And I really
addiction,
feel,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Like, and I really feel for the kids who are growing up in this era. Um, I know the term iPad kid is like a thing where a lot of parents are starting to raise their kids on, social media and iPads. And at the end of the day, it's no judgment, because, as long as we're alive in this day and age, we can't escape it. But at the end of the day, there needs to be like boundaries. Like, okay, like at the end of the day, this is
Yes.
social media. What you see is what people choose to put on there. It's not reality. It's not. You don't know this person. You don't really like, and that's another thing. A lot of people um, form like these parasocial relationships with influencers and content creators and don't get me wrong, like there's like I have a few content creators that I'm a huge fan of, but at the end of the day, like I remind myself like this is all curated. um on threads, there's this big discussion about, how a lot of people are starting to, start to film private intimate moments of their lives, like what they're choosing to eat for breakfast and drinking their coffee and going to the library. And I'm like, what, it's, to each their own, but people have to understand that this is all curated content. I
Yes.
like 9 times, I would say 10 times out of 10, this is not how it goes. Like they're not waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning with a perfect with the perfect hair, everything. So yeah, just that's just my whole take on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like aspirational for like a day or two, but then you have to go back to your like daily life and accept a normal kind of day-to-day lifestyle where it's
Yeah,
okay to not be perfect.
right?
And I think
Exactly.
that's why I like writing. It's so fun because it's like you don't have to be perfect in a way. You can, especially when it comes to creative writing, and if people want to write poetry or express
Hmm.
themselves through like novel writing, it's like the ideas that pop out. This is like your own imagination. I think it's so fun to be able to do that. It's such a great way to connect with the universe and just flow. And where can people connect with you and see your content and everything that you have to offer?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Luma Alo. So it's spelled Luma, Alo. I'm mostly active on LinkedIn right now, but you can find me on X as well. So my username is going to be at hardlife soft GI and then the number one. And yeah,
Awesome.
and
I'll
then
put
my
that.
IG is writing by Luma.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Luma, for coming on the podcast. It was so nice to meet you and to connect with you and just talk about your work, writing, and all the great things that you're connecting with and you're sharing with the world. So thanks again so much.
Thank you so much for having me.